Researchers from the University of Indiana are looking into the issue of parasites that humans could get from their pet cats. Now, there is a very common parasite that cats carry. It's known as toxoplasma gondii. And apparently, it's been thought to have no negative impact on humans until now. Now, understand that a lot of people actually already have this parasite living inside their brains. And I want to give you some more information about it. Now, according to one researcher, he says, I don't think we can take it for granted anymore that these parasites are sitting in our heads for the rest of our lives doing nothing. Okay, so that's what Bill Sullivan, Indiana University School of Medicine professor, has to say about this. He's the one who's doing some extensive studies on this parasite and the impact it has on humans. Now, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimate that about 25% of people in the U.S. carry this parasite in their brain. Most people contract the disease either through handling the litter box of an infected cat or contaminated soil or by eating the undercooked meat of an infected animal. Now,
that's scary, man. That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
It's like, you know, you used to hear the thing about, oh, the cat's the litter box. I've heard it. I have a cat, right? But you'd often dismiss it like, oh, yeah, that's an exception. Yeah, I know. If I go to the Amazon, a thing can get into my head and explode my brain 13 years later. But it's not likely to happen. And it's not always just because of cats. Anna just explained to you the different circumstances under which you can get it. But if a quarter of Americans have it, that's pretty significant. Now, let's find out what it does.
All right, so here's what we know that it does already. If you get it, you're likely to get a minor flu. However, if a woman is infected for the first time during her pregnancy, the parasite can actually cause damage to the fetus, including birth defects or miscarriage.
That's scary, man.
So that's not as harmless as one might think, okay? But they want to look into it further to see if it has any type of impact on humans as it does on mice. So on mice, it does have a really crazy and fascinating impact. Yep. About 25 years ago, scientists observed that infected mice exhibited little fear of cats, normally their mortal enemy. Further investigation showed these mice were actually sexually attracted to the scent of cat urine. So somehow the parasite, which entered the mice, had mixed up the fear signals and the arousal signals in their brains, and now all of a sudden, when they would smell cat urine, instead of feeling fear, they would feel arousal.
Okay, this is the point in the show when I yell, evolution! It's amazing. It's amazing. So, the parasite can only do its complete sexual cycle inside the cat. So it enters the mice where it cannot do its complete sexual cycle. It's got to get out of the mice. So it turns out in the mice's head, the arousal is close to fear. So it switches the routing, and fear becomes arousal, and it's rubbing up against the cat's urine, and the cat walks in like, meow. Okay, this is too easy, right? Like but what it doesn't realize is, oh, hey, look at this. What a wonderful mice present I got today. Yum, 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 eats it, stick their line. Now the parasite's in the cat's head. Okay, where it does its complete sexual cycle. And then it gets in the litter, and then it gets in us, and then there's one other aspect of it. It might make our brains a little slower. Okay, not good, not good.
Now, I don't want to be alarmist, okay? They need to study this more, and even the researcher that we're talking about here says you probably have nothing to worry about, okay? But nonetheless,
I don't believe him.
Okay. Nonetheless,
okay, it's not that I don't believe in science and researcher. It's that scientists, by their nature, are very cautious. They don't want to jump out and say, this is definitely happening, right? But you just told me that it's in a quarter of all Americans. So then and it could have these different effects, including, obviously, much more dangerous to a woman who's pregnant. Well, then I should be worried. I should be worried, right? Look, some of the effects they've studied are amazing and unexpected. Turns out it affects men and women differently. For infected men, they are introverted, suspicious, and rebellious. Okay, so apparently I'm not affected because I am not introverted. Okay, that didn't happen to me. Rebellious, though, we do call this rebel headquarters, so maybe 50-50. For women, it's the opposite. They are extroverted, trusting, and willing to follow directions. So thank God my wife is not affected either. Okay, willing to follow directions? I don't think so. Okay. But the fact that it is changing what's going on inside your mind was very scary. Some strange connections to car accidents. If you have a minor car accident, it might trigger other things, okay? The combination of the parasite and the car accident, obviously, they got to study it more. They don't know why, right? But one last part that's super scary is there is a potential link to schizophrenia.
Yeah, potential.
So, I know. Well, that's where it gets super scary. So now don't all freak out and kill your kittens, okay? Don't pull a Bill Frist. Remember the former Senate Majority Leader for the Republicans used to do experiments with cats when he was in medical school? Don't do that. Okay. And I'm not getting rid of my cat. I'm going to keep him. He's part of the family. Oh, shmoopy bapoopy.
Do you love your cat?
No. Well, I wouldn't go that far. Okay. Now, having said that, I don't know, man. I mean, would I think twice about getting a cat, especially if you're in a family situation where your wife might get pregnant? I would definitely think twice. Now, we got our cat after we were done having kids, so that factored into our decision a little bit. If I'd known that it was this significant, it would have factored in even more. Cat's a little dangerous.